I'm outside work tinkering with the junkyard truck. I temporarily got my bench seat put back in. For right now I got the bench seat in here so I can move this thing around a little more comfortable. And also I've got something coming here in a little bit. I think we're gonna be able to get this thing a test drive. I gotta swap out my rear differential flange. I'm gonna throw the camera under there and kind of show you what I'm doing. It already has a little bit of play on it, and someone asked me what I'm gonna do to fix that. Honestly guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap my flange out for one that will accept this new drive shaft, but also I'm just gonna retighten it just to where I have a little bit of feel to it. These are used gears, so I'm just gonna set up so I have a little bit of preload, not a whole lot like you're doing new gears. So just light pinion preload, and that's all we're gonna do. My new vlogs. What you do, Steve? What's Steve doing? Come here. What you doing? Meow. Pardon the noise, but I'm cold. It is like literally freezing out today. So we have a problem to fix, and I don't know if you can see that, but this is loose. So we're going to alleviate this by, well, we would tighten it up, but what we're going to do is I'm also swapping to a flange for the new drive shaft we're going to put in. So yeah, I need to clean all the gook out and figure out what the hell size socket I need for this. Well, now that half of my garage is out here, 1.16". Oh, that was it. We don't get a bunch of oil coming out of here. Asshole. Well, the oil still looks good even after all the burnouts I've done. Should we replace the seal? Yep. Am I gonna? Nope. Where's the flange at? Ow. Somewhere, but we're just gonna hang on, tubes. We need at least 10 pounds of resistance on it. My big gun out for this. There's a little bit of plays in the spider gears. We might put a limited slip in this. Not able to turn it anymore with the impact gun. I don't have my compressor set up to run my big gun either. it's got a little bit on it now. There's like maybe a couple pounds. We don't need a whole lot with it being used stuff here. That feels alright. It's not as heavy as I'd like it to be, but I think that'll do. Now, I gotta look at this driver's side wheel. It's locked up. That'll do. So now we can remeasure for our drive shaft. This output yoke here, we need it to have at least, you know, an inch to an inch and a half of inward travel. So right now it's bottomed out. Get a ½ inch. There's an inch. Yeah. So that 1 inch of travel going in is a lot, especially on this rig that's stock. Well, stock, but no lift. And what I'm gonna do is I've got the, I have another flange that came with this flange here. And it gives me the bearing caps. So I got bearing cap. I'm gonna measure in between. And then when I go to get this shaft that I have shortened, the shop will know what to cut the tube down to. Unfortunately, I can't see dick. Drive shaft that my friend just gave me, and I thank you, Scott, for giving me that. It's going to help out a lot. It's 53.5 inches, bearing cap to bearing cap. Right now we need ours to be 51 inches. If I had plans to lift this truck, we could leave that drive shaft alone. A 6-inch lift on this would be able to utilize that rear drive shaft. So we need a 51-inch long drive shaft. And also looking at it, I don't think we need to deal with this bearing carrier thing. We can just kind of leave it. Because, I mean, for that axle to come up and hit this, I think you need to run the truck over with a bulldozer. Yeah. But if we gotta take it out, we can take it out. Otherwise, if I don't have to cut it out, I ain't cutting it out. We might even be able to use it as a drive shaft loop holder upper 9,000. So a 51 inch. For right now I leave this yoke in there just so I can kind of yard drive this a little bit and it keeps the oil in. So yeah, that's where we're at. We need a 51 inch drive shaft. Alright, this back left wheel has been giving me a problem. I got a new 5 amp hour battery on this, dude. So nice. I haven't even recharged it yet. I think I still got 3 bars. This side was getting hot. And I I could smell it when we were doing all that firewood. I know what our problem is. So here's a drive shaft my friend gave me. This came from his, I think it's a 94. Conveniently, it's already got the proper transfer case end on. I have another one for it, but I'm using that one as a plug. And then this one already has a flange end on it. Since I happen to have that yoke and that thing needed to be fixed, kind of just made sense to just swap it out. And at least now, if I got to take the drive shaft off, I don't have to worry about U-joints falling apart. So, and plus, I think this is a little bit stronger than doing the old U-joint strap deal. So, yeah. Excuse me, guys. The cold. When it's real cold out here, it messes with my sinuses, and I'm gonna have to head back in here before I get worse again. When we were out in the woods for a couple days, I ended up getting a freaking cold out of it. Yeah, so now as for this truck, I apologize I haven't showed like 100% of everything that is needed for the 5-speed swap. Someone was hoping to see the clutch bleeding procedure. I'm probably going to do a separate video on that because I still need to do a little bit more bleeding on this one. I think it's got a little bit of air in it still. It works great, but it's the top of the pedal is a little spongy, so we may do a separate video on that. I can tell you one thing, the procedure that I did, because it was by myself, there was a lot of up and down, fill the reservoir, squeeze some more stuff out, shut it out, pump it, fill it. I didn't feel like filming, and that's kind of why I didn't cover it. I can tell you right now, get yourself a second person to bleed the clutch. It's just like bleeding the brakes. You want to get fluid in there, pump it up, keep filling it, let the air work itself out. Open up your master, let fluid start to flow. I usually let the whole system, I leave it open, like the master and everything. Open up the slave and just let fluid run through. Give her a couple of pumps here and there. And then once you get a good stream of fluid, then you can start shutting it off. Have someone push down on the clutch, and then you go under and open the valve, and you pretty much just go there until you have a firm clutch pedal, and your ultimate test is, will it go into gear? And this one goes into gear first and reverse, no problem. So I think it's bled out pretty good, but I'll probably do it one more time when I get another person here. All right, so in this video, we're putting this final flooring kit in my junkyard truck. I got this from Jeff Bronco Graveyard for around 200 bucks after shipping. The color, I think the color is actually pretty close to what used to be in their factory. And what I'm doing is I'm just letting it sit in front of the heater and just kind of relax a little bit. And I'm going to take my heat gun and kind of heating up the edges to get them flattened out. I think I got it pretty close to where it needs to be. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our factory carpet and put it on top, and we're gonna loosely trim the edges of this and along the firewall area so that this will fit in there and we can kind of do some more fine tuning. I already had it in there earlier. It's way too wide and too long, and yeah, it's just kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, I'm gonna take the factory carpet, put it on top of this, and then just see where I need to kind of loosely trim. And there's no better way to get over a cold than a nice cold one here. Whew. She was getting a little toasty in here. I actually had a whole suit on and I was pretty warm. So I think we're okay to go ahead and put factory carpet over this. Yeah, that flattened out real nice. Get that hot, put some wood on top of it, and let the floor cool back off. Perfect. So, I'm not worried about getting this vinyl dirty because guess what? It's vinyl. Okay. Before we get too much crazier, let me go grab some tissues. So, okay, I can definitely see where we got some problem areas. Come on, juggle well. Just moving those things around. So the problem is we don't want to cut too much in one spot because I'm like, uh-oh, we cut too much. I think honestly, pretty damn close. If we just move it over. I think what I want to try and do is have this driver's side kind of fit inside the vinyl. And I can see right here, I need to just cut that off. And then we've got like 3 inches almost on this side that needs to get cut off. All these holes for the seats we're not going to worry about until we actually get this in there. So let's see, how straight are we? So this stuff will go in the back. We don't need to trim here, we can leave that alone. We need to trim the back part. There's also a little bit, kind of a molding area where the back of the cab sits up into this. Well, kind of matching that up with that. So I think what I'll do yeah, this is pretty well matched up. I think I'll get some, see if I got scissors good enough, and we'll just trim a little bit along here. Yeah, we've got like 4 inches of stuff to cut off the top here. And the same here, I'm just gonna do a little bit of trimming. And then what we'll do is we'll get that laid in there, and then we'll trim a little bit more as needed, and then we'll get the heat gun and just heat up certain areas, kind of start getting it to mold in, and then we'll start cutting our holes and whatnot. So I think that's my plan of attack, is do it like this, and then we'll plop that in there, and we'll cut our holes and everything, get the shifters poking through, and then yeah, that's pretty neat. I'm back. I'm a little bit better. I've actually had a little bit of COVID the last couple of weeks. So I've been kind of, well, I've been home from work. In fact, I'm still off of work. I'm not supposed to go back until I have a negative COVID test, so I gotta wait till this coming Monday. So I'm at home in quarantine, so I'm going to work on stuff. I can't just sit around, so I'm out here in the garage. I got my heater going, keeping it nice and warm in here. I can't be out in the cold too long because it starts messing with my sinuses. But I want to do is start trimming this vinyl flooring a little bit and get it into the junkyard truck and start getting holes knocked up and whatnot. Well, I done did it again. I put 2.5 gallons of kerosene in my diesel heater and probably 2 gallons of waste oil in it. A little too cold. Oh man, that's okay. I'm already pretty well warmed up. this in here. It is fitting a little bit nicer than when I last tried to put this in here. So, let's see. I think we're just about there. Yeah, I want this to go up a little bit further. And then it looks like we're gonna have to trim quite a bit of this up. I think this is actually for, like, we'll fit an extended cab also. I'm not quite sure, but we're gonna have a lot to cut off here, I think. So I think the best part is I'll shut one door, I'll sit here with my heat gun and just, I'm also thinking I could probably get my propane heater and set it in here and heat this cab up. That way this will kind of form into place. But yeah, I'm thinking I want this to go a couple more inches up. So I'll probably get my box knife and cut around the gas pedal over there. That'll let me get this up a little bit higher. But I'm definitely gonna need my heat gun here in a hot minute. So I'm gonna cut around the gas pedal and probably trim a little bit more off up there. Because looking at it, this part here needs to be right here. So if I trim up there a little bit more, we can scoot this up, and then this actually might sit back here. Okay. You know, if I had an actual exhaust on this truck, I'd just let it run for a little bit. It would heat up a little bit nicer. We're going to take a couple inches off the top here. I think that's what we're going to do. So I'll pull this back and I'll just... The big thing is to not cut yourself wide open. We're getting there. This is the first time I've put one of these in here, so bear with me. I'm learning how to do this. If I said that this was for a standard or a extended cab, I was wrong. This is for a standard cab truck. That's what I bought it for. kitty, kitty? What you doing? Meow, meow. What's my big cocoon doing? Oh, my nose is running. I'm going to go clear it again. So here's what we're looking like. I trimmed off another 2 inches. Notched a little bit there around the gas pedal. What's it? Come on. Get off of there. Get a freaking bug on my lens. The only trimming I got left to do is a little bit right here. I'm gonna trim it so this fits against the cab here, and then I gotta cut a little hole for our dimmer switch. This is pretty nice in here. It's kind of helped settle this down a little bit. We're gonna put the insulation under here after I finish doing the final trim. We'll put the insulation here, and this will kind of take up some slack. I need to cut a square here for the shifter, and we gotta find our hole for our four-wheel drive shifter. It should be right there. Yeah, it's right there. I'll just cut a little square out, and then yeah, I think this is as good as it's gonna get. These are never really perfect anyways. I think this will all kind of settle out after a good summer. This stuff is just finally warming up a little bit after having the heat gun on it and this heater going. So it's all kind of just slowly settling. I don't have a whole lot to trim here. I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off. I got a big section back here I need to trim and get this around the seat belt. And I'm going to trim probably about 1/2 inch off of here. And what I'll do is I'll poke holes in it for the door sill or door trim. Otherwise, we need to poke holes for the seat belts and the bench seat holes. After I get all the holes and everything poked up, we'll go back into the garage. We'll spray down with some adhesive. We'll put our insulation on, and we'll slam this back in here. All right, ever so slightly losing daylight, but I got holes cut out. So at first I did the old poke and stab method, and it was, yeah. What I ended up doing, which made it really easy, these ones here I kind of guessed where it was, and I just drilled a hole and then just augered it out as I needed it. So I got those two for the seat belt, and then for the seat, you can actually go up from underneath, put like a 1/2 inch or 3/8 drill bit or whatever smaller than the bolt hole here, and you can go up through and drill through the vinyl that way, and then you got your holes. Boom, you're done. So nice on that side, kind of crappy on this side. I got the slot cut out for the shifters there. This one here, when I put this back in, I'm going to trim a little bit around here, so I'm going to be going through steel for the screws and not going through the vinyl. Just kind of how I want to do it that way. A little bit easier to stab the screws. I haven't done that part quite yet. I might actually won't be able to finish this today because I need to get self-tapping screws for the thing. Oh, you know what? I might have time to run to the hardware store. I think I'm going to do it like this. The back, we're not going to have any insulation, so it's kind of crappy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray loosely where this is going to go. And then I'm going to spray this. So I had just enough sticky back weather stripping to put on that. Just enough. The insulation didn't stick like I wanted it to. I didn't even try. That's okay. Just gonna shove her in here. Or one good summer and this will settle down. I'm gonna get my knife and cut a slit and maybe use the scissors and cut the hole out, and then I'll put my shifters in. Everything's hooking on to me. Oh, look at that. This light's about to die. But hey, not too bad. I think when we get a few heat cycles, this will all settle. I'm gonna put the trim in a little bit later, fasten all that stuff down. Yeah, I think it came up pretty good. Yeah. Put the trim back in, that'll set all that down, and yeah, that'll settle down. I'll probably hit it with the heat gun a little bit and let it form in place. This has kind of filled out a little bit since we put the insulation there. So yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll do all the finishing touches a little bit later, preferably when it's warmer out. I am freezing right now, so I'm gonna head her inside, go warm up. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.